An Athens City Council member is pushing the Athens Police Department to get body cameras. We'll have the pros and cons. The First Lady visits a drug treatment center in West Virginia, how the facility is fighting the opioid epidemic.
And the Cleveland Indians are heading into Game 5 of the American Division Series. The recap of last night's game. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
There is a push for Athens police officers to get body cameras. Good evening, I'm Jacob Solother. Thanks for joining us. Those who depend on not 2 weeks ago, Athens City Police Chief Tom Powell presented to City Council the pros and cons of implementing body cameras at APD. WOUB reporter Michaela Marshall is live in front of Athens Police Department with a look at how the idea is being received. Michaela?
Well, that's right, Jacob. The Athens Police Chief Tom Powell declined to comment. However, I was able to sit down with Sheriff Rodney Smith to discuss why the county decided against implementing body cameras.
Favor of police body cameras. Initially, that's what our intentions were, to get body cameras for all the deputies. As we move forward and try to look at the research, we decided to go with the taser body cams. We had, in the meantime, already had established over half our fleet with in-car cameras. So we looked at the expense, which you have docking fees, you have licensing fees, and we was looking at an extra expense anywhere from $9,000 to $11,000 a year yearly to maintain the body cameras.
And I also sat down with the biggest proponent of the police body cameras, Councilman and Attorney Patrick McGee, who agrees that cost is a concern. However, he agrees that there are alternative options. Take a listen to what he had to say.
What I would like to see happen is a trial basis and see whether it's worth it and see what we really can determine the cost would be. But before we jump in and buy the most expensive and extravagant units, I'd like to see what would work for Athens.
Councilman McGee says that he plans to attend a conference in November to look at all of the different options of body cameras and figure out just how much this may cost the city. He says he knows of at least one proposal that costs a third less than what Chief Powell initially proposed. WOUB expects to learn more about APD's perspective on this story later on this week. I'm Michaela Marshall reporting live in front of the Athens Police Department. Back to you, Jacob.
Thanks, Michaela. The Athens-Hocking Vinton Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services District is seeking a 10-year renewal of an existing $1 million levy. The levy represents 24% of the agency's total budget. The 317 board treats mental illness, alcohol and drug addiction, promotes educational and prevention programs to raise community awareness of behavioral health issues. The levy renewal is appearing on the November 7th general election ballot. It is issue 3 in Athens County and issue 4 in Hocking County. Vinton County will be listing it as proposed tax levy renewal, Athens, Hocking, Vinton, alcohol, drug addiction, and mental services. Sam Quinones, author of Dreamland, The True Tale of America's Opioid Epidemic, is coming to Athens County this week. Quinones will be attending multiple community discussions relating to the opioid crisis in Appalachia and beyond. His book details how the epidemic is affecting many small towns throughout the country, focusing much of his reporting on nearby Portsmouth. Quinones is speaking tomorrow on campus at Grover and OU's Walter Rotunda. He's hosting the Forum for Frontline Professionals at the Athens Community Center on Friday. Students and faculty are returning to their classrooms and offices after a gas leak caused an hour-long evacuation from 3 campus buildings. People
gas leak, I mean, we didn't smell anything, nothing out of the ordinary, just everyone followed. In fact, I thought it was actual a test. I didn't think it was actually real.
Matt Riley's OU's engineering says the 3 There was a rupture in the gas service line that went into Grover, but students didn't notice a difference in Grover. The Monument Quill is set to visit Ohio University this week. The quill is meant to be a public healing space for survivors of sexual assault. Thousands of stories built the quill and show that victims of sexual assault will never be forgotten. The quilt will be shown at Peden Stadium this Friday. Survivors will be sharing their stories throughout the day starting at 9 a.m. A new local activist organization is seeking housing justice in Athens County. The Athens Tenant Union, or ATU, is demanding City Council create a new legislation with 3 major goals. The first is to end unfair withholding of security deposits by landlords. The second is to prevent hidden and unfair late fees on tenants. And the final demand is to create a database of landlord housing code violations that is open, transparent, and accessible for all area tenants. The group considers OU students as well as permanent area residents as its members. ATU meets every Wednesday at 7 p.m. in Bentley. A man will serve a 3-year sentence after stealing a hot tub and after committing arson in a Hocking Hills area cabin. Jonathan Knapp pled guilty to trying to destroy evidence of stealing a hot tub back in 2015. Knapp will register as an arson offender and serve his prison term at Toledo Correctional Institution.
Welcome to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Josh Gregory, and we've got another hot and humid day today. And if you're like me and you sweat a lot, you just want this temperature to go away. So we are 76 degrees right now in Athens, and that's not going to change tomorrow and the day after. Still hot and humid, 64% humidity, so it feels a little muggy outside, feels a little warmer than usual, and that cloud coverage is just going to keep continuing on throughout the night. And this is not just in Athens. Everywhere else is feeling a little humid. We get into the 80s in Ripley, Marietta, New Martinsville, and then 75 up in Columbus. And then just looking overnight, temperatures aren't going to cool down a whole lot. 62 in Athens, 65 in Chillicothe and Ripley, 64 in Columbus. So if you want to look at this, 8 p.m., 70 degrees, 12 a.m., 68 degrees, and then 4 a.m., that's where we're going to see some light rain coming into tomorrow, 65 degrees. So we're going to have another humid, muggy start to our day tomorrow, and that's just not something I'm really looking forward to, but I'll have more on that in my extended forecast. So Jacob, I'm going to throw it over back to you.
Thanks, Josh. West Virginia Governor Jim Justice is hoping to see more residents back to work. This is after voters approved a $1.6 billion state bond for road and bridge projects. In a Twitter post on Monday, the governor says he will put a task force together to ensure as many states' residents as possible are put to work on the new projects. The vote passed with a 3-1 approval. The Secretary of State's office reports nearly 90,000 people voted for the amendment, while more than 35,000 people voted against it. Melania Trump was in West Virginia earlier this afternoon to visit an infant recovery center. Lily's Place, a drug treatment facility for infants born to addicted mothers, is located in Huntington, an area among the hardest hit by America's opioid epidemic. The long-term privately operated facility opened back in 2014. The facility works with newborns going through drug withdrawal and addicted mothers in the hope that infants can be sent home to safe environments. Police have arrested the parents of a little boy found wandering in East Cleveland, Ohio. Officers believe he may have been tied up before someone saw him on the street Sunday. Lacey Crisp has the story.
Pictures of this 6-year-old boy quickly spread as police tried to track down his parents.
I got a call just that it was a kid walking down the street. And I got the call. Everybody was posting it.
Police say they picked up the 6-year-old here at the corner of Hayden and Elsinore wearing only a T-shirt.
It's a shame, though. It's real sad.
Police took the boy to the hospital to get checked out. A warning, these pictures are graphic. You can see his wrists. Police tell us there are fresh and past burn marks, and police think the child may have been bound.
It's terrible. It's just really terrible.
East Cleveland police were going door to door showing the little boy's picture, hoping someone would know who he is. Well, around 4 o'clock this afternoon, they arrested his parents.
That's just sad to know that he was walking down the street this morning and did nobody know he was gone.
Children and Family Services arrived with 2 vans as children screamed. They one by one loaded up 7 more kids from the house.
I feel bad for those kids, I really do.
Police say the boy could not tell them his name or where he came from when they found him. They also say his parents didn't even know he was missing. There's no word yet on any possible charges against them. President Trump says he has a better IQ than his Secretary of State, what the president is saying now to the media. Plus, wildfires continue to destroy parts of California. The White House's reaction when Newswatch returns.
University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
Hey everybody, I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous. Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
More than 90,000 people are currently without power in California, as deadly wildfires ravage parts of the state, killing at least 11 Northern Californians alone. Natasha Chen reports from Santa Rosa.
Thousands of Napa, Mendocino, and Sonoma County residents are fleeing the uncontrollable, deadly wildfire raging across parts of California.
Came burning, all the embers just came this way, wind, and it just happened so fast. You just had time just to run away with nothing.
Thousands of homes and buildings are burning to the ground as residents are warned to evacuate.
The fires are still out there. They are still actively growing. Resources still continue to be limited. We have folks on the fire line starting their third shift right now that have not been relieved because there's folks not available to come in with so many fires in the area.
Entire neighborhoods are wiped out in Santa Rosa.
No reported of any containment at this point. As Supervisor Ramos and other electeds have alluded, it's about making sure people are safe. Safety is our #1 concern right now.
It's an apocalyptic scene as residents describe the confusion while trying to evacuate.
There's fires everywhere. I've been sent in 3 different directions to evacuate horses. I'm receiving horses. I'm going to do everything I can.
Yeah, trying to get out of here. We saw it, now it's getting across the road. It's all bad.
Winds are expected to ease up today, giving firefighters a welcomed break from the weather, but not from the fires.
The federal government is stepping in to help California deal with wildfires devastating parts of the state. Vice President Mike Pence made the announcement today in Sacramento.
President Trump has approved a major disaster declaration for the state of California to assist in the response to wildfires that are impacting across the state. This declaration will allow FEMA to identify, mobilize, and provide additional equipment and resources to assist with the emergency.
Earlier today, Pence tweeted that the Trump administration is grateful for their firefighters battling the California blazes. He also pledged that the White House would work with California officials throughout what he called these challenging times. Hours after he told Forbes magazine he had a higher IQ than Rex Tillerson, President Trump says he has confidence in his Secretary of State. During a meeting today, Trump says his comments didn't embarrass Tillerson.
I didn't undercut anybody. I don't believe in undercutting people. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Reports say that the Secretary of State allegedly called the president a moron at the Pentagon earlier this year. Sources tell CNN the two met at the White House Friday. Trump and Tillerson were also scheduled to meet twice today, including a lunch with Defense Secretary James Mattis. New allegations have surfaced surrounding Harvey Weinstein. He is accused of rape by several women, according to an article in the New Yorker magazine. 2 days after the media mogul was fired from his company, a new article published in the New Yorker says 3 women came forward saying Weinstein raped them. According to the article, 13 women say Weinstein sexually harassed or assaulted them between 1990 and 2015. Weinstein has denied all allegations against him. Puppies visited Ohio University's Ping Recreational Center today. That story still ahead.
And temperatures are just going to increase. We may see temperatures in the 80s this weekend. All of that and your extended forecast all next on Newswatch. But first, here's a look at stocks of local interest.
Professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Hey everybody, I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
As of yesterday morning, more than 10,000 homes and businesses across the Southeast are out of power in the aftermath of Hurricane Nate. Now, another tropical storm has formed, Ophelia, strengthened from a tropical depression to a tropical storm yesterday morning. While forecasters believe Ophelia could become a hurricane later this week, it is unlikely it will be a threat to the land. The storm is far east of the U.S. mainland and continues to move in that direction. The closest populated area to the storm is the Azores Islands, nearly 1,000 miles away.
Welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. Josh Gregory here. 76 degrees, like I said, hot and humid. And that's all across the area. So 80 in Marietta. We're getting in the 80s in Ripley as well, 82. And then up in Columbus, 75. So not a whole lot of fluctuation. And that's the same thing for tonight. 62 in Athens, 64 in Columbus, 65. Not a whole lot of cool down. We're still going to feel that humidity. And you can thank Hurricane Nate for that. So looking at the almanac, 77 today, 11 degrees higher than our normal, and get this, 62 degrees. So we're 4 away from what we normally should be for our high. Just to put that in perspective, that's how hot the temperatures are right now. Nowhere close to fall temperatures. And here is where we can see some of Tropical Storms Nate And you can thank the humidity and the rain we've been receiving for that. So Tropical Storm Nate is currently right here. This is the aftermath of that. And it is a little bit, as you can see, down near Cincinnati in our area. And looking to tonight, 62 degrees, so still humid. We're going to have that fog tomorrow because of that humidity and a slight chance of showers in the early morning. But not a whole lot of cool down, like I said. So plan your night accordingly. 70 degrees by 8 p.m. tonight in just a few hours. 68 at midnight, so 2 to temperature degree difference there, and 65 at 4. And that's when we're going to see that rain kick in and that humidity start to build up. So looking at the bus stop, make sure the kids, you might want a jacket. It might be a little cool, but you're definitely going to want to lose it tomorrow. 64 degrees right then and there. Cloudy and that muggy start, that's just going to build up into some more rain throughout the day. So tomorrow, across the region, 77 degrees, in Athens, and a cloudy, like I said, chance of rain. We're going to see that around noon and hot and humid. Winds, light and variable, so that's not going to be a huge factor all across the region. 77 in Athens, mid to upper 70s all across the region. Tomorrow, not a whole lot of fluctuation there. And plan your day accordingly. 73 degrees by noon. So on your lunch break, make sure you have that umbrella because it might rain a little bit. But as we start getting into the evening, clearing up just enough. So if you look at our extended forecast, here's what I draw your attention to. 80 degrees on Saturday, 79 on Sunday. That's ridiculous. But bright side, we're going to see a cool down Monday and Tuesday.
What better way to spend a day off than with puppies? Ohio University's Paws for a Cause brought puppies from the Athens County Dog Shelter to help students relax on Reading Day. Reading Day is a day off for students meant to help them prepare for midterms. OU students got a chance to unwind and relax by playing with puppies of all breeds, shapes, and sizes. Paws for a Cause helps raise funds for shelter dogs and organize events designed to help connect the Ohio University community.
Good evening, I'm Eric II. Both men and women's golf finished up their fall seasons today, and the Indians, they're beginning to sweat. Next on Newswatch.
Buddy, I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night, live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Welcome back, I'm Eric II. The Ohio women's golf team is finished for the fall, but they finished top 10. The Lady Bobcats ended with a 6th place finish at the Shirley Spork EMU Invitational in Ypsilanti. The ladies had a 3-round total of 70 over, a total of 934. The Bobcats will return in their spring season, or for their spring season in February. The fall season also concluded for the men's golf team today as they finished 14th at the Health Plain Mountaineer Invitational in Bridgeport, West Virginia. Now the Indians, they are trying to finish strong, but the Yankees aren't having it. 4 second-inning runs was all New York needed as they beat the Indians 7-3, forcing a Game 5. Now, according to Indians manager Terry Francona, Edwin Encarnacion is expected to return after spraining his right ankle in Game 2. Cleveland is still a favorite to win the World Series after winning 42 of their final 50 regular season games. Now, the Cubs, they're trying to finish their season like they did the last, winning the World Series. They won Game 3 last night and are 1 win away from advancing to their 3rd straight National League Championship Series. Their Game 4 matchup with the Washington Nationals is currently in a rain delay. Now, Tanner Rourke is on the mound tonight for the Nats, while the Cubs bring out former Cy Young winner Jake Arrieta. Now, the Dodgers, they don't have to worry about a Game 4. They whipped out their brooms last night, beating the Arizona Diamondbacks 3-1, advancing to the NLDS. Los Angeles has been dominant on the mound all year. Yu Darvish continued that storyline. Darvish struck out 7 Diamondbacks last night in 5 innings and only allowing 1 run. The Dodgers await the winner of the Nationals and the Cubs. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers are waiting for their journey to begin, and they're trying to get to a 4th straight NBA Finals. Now, they have to get through the preseason first, as the Cavs has not registered a win yet. We have to see Dwayne Wade against his old team, the Chicago Bulls. Wade is looking to help Cleveland make it back to the NBA Finals for their 4th consecutive season. Now, the regular season tips off next Tuesday, where Kyrie Irving will be back in Quicken Loans Arena for the first time since he was traded to Boston. Now, this was not a healthy breakup, and the Celtics and Cavs are both expected to be top 2 in the East, but for now, the Cavs have to deal with Chicago tonight at 8 o'clock. Now, the Bulls, they have 2 wins already more than the Chicago Bears. But the Bears were all over Viking quarterback Sam Bradford early. That's a safety for Leonard Floyd right there. Bears up 2-0, but the Bears' fortune changed when the Vikings brought out Case Keenum. Keenum made his presence felt early, throwing a touchdown pass to tight end Kyle Rudolph right here. Then Minnesota, they proceeded to play Duck, Duck, Goose, and I guess everybody wanted to be the Goose. The Vikings went on to win this game 20-17. And I'm Eric II. That's all I have for you in sports. Back to you, Jacob.
Thanks, Eric. Take a look at this. Surveillance footage caught a bear family breaking into a pizza joint in Colorado. A mother bear and 2 cubs were caught red-pawed going through ingredients at Antonio's Real New York Pizza in Estes Park. After some repairs and tidying up, the business reopened and you could barely tell the animals were even there.
Welcome back. Josh Gregory here, 77, like I said today. Slight cool down on Thursday, but we're going to be right back there on Friday, 77. And a big warm-up this weekend, 81, middle of October on Saturday, Sunday, 79. We're going to dip down into those cool temperatures on Monday. Jacob?
Thanks, Josh. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Jacob Solother. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.
I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night, live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.